yeast there. Alright, so today we're going to be making some hot cross buns. I've got some Challenger Smallgoods maple bacon here that we're going to use for the crosses, just to put a little twist on it. We're going to be doing a proper like yeast rise and make a good bun out of it, how they should traditionally be made. In the modern supermarket, they just take dinner rolls that you buy year round and they just put some little crosses on them because it's easier than doing the whole everything else. So the first thing we're going to do is take some warm milk. So this is about 37 degrees Celsius, about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to mix that with our yeast and a little bit of the flour. We'll get that activated and we'll set that aside, and we're just going to let the yeast kind of grow and bloom, and you'll see it'll kind of start to foam and it'll be a little bit chunky, and then you know you're good to go. After that, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients and put a good knead on it. Really develop that gluten and make it like proper dough. If you have a KitchenAid, I have one, but it's from Canada and it's in the shop at the moment, and they're converting it over so that it can plug into an Australian plug. So I want to be kneading these things by hand today, but if you have a dough hook on your KitchenAid, definitely go that route because it's going to make your life a lot easier. After that, it's basically just a matter of rising, punching it down, separate it, put them in the trays, give them another rise and bake them. They're pretty simple recipe, but they're damn good and they're really tasty for Easter. So let's get this thing going. Take this warm milk, 300 mils roughly. Pop that in there first. You get our yeast. Boom, it's doing its thing. And then maybe just like a little handful of this flour. Sprinkle that around. A little bit more maybe. Just gonna whisk this up. And from here, all we're going to do is just let this bloom for about 15, 20 minutes maybe. Alright, so our yeast has had a little bit of time to bloom. First thing we're going to throw in is our brown sugar, about 50 grams here. I'm just going to sprinkle that in. 50 grams of butter melted, 2 eggs, which I might just crack in here and whisk out first. Sultanas, as well. Here I've got cardamom and a bit of cinnamon. So I'll just sprinkle that on top. I'm just going to grate this nutmeg in here as well. So these are going to have some really great holiday flavors. I feel like nutmeg, cardamom, cinnamon, they always kind of remind me of the holidays, you know, whether it's Christmas or Thanksgiving back home, Halloween, all those autumny winter holidays. Alright, so we got all those in. We're just going to bring them all together and just to combine the ingredients. And then we're going to add some flour. Now we're not just going to dump it all in right off the bat. What we want to do is just kind of add a little bit, maybe add like 2/3 of it. Basically just going to get in there and mix this stuff around. This is where if you had a KitchenAid, you use the dough hook and walk away and go get yourself a cup of tea. But we're just going to mix this all by hand. We're going to start bringing this dough together, and what we're looking for is like a smooth kind of elasticy consistency. It's probably going to need a good 8 to 12 minutes of kneading to get it where we need to go. It's just a matter of keeping an eye on it. You'll kind of know when it's coming together, if it's too wet or too dry. If it's too wet, just add a little bit more flour. If it's too dry, just add a little bit of water or a little bit of milk. This one's feeling a little bit wet still. Might add a little more flour. And mix that in there. for a sec. We'll see you in 10-15. You don't need to go to the gym if you're doing a hot cross bun. Sometimes when I'm kneading, just go like this. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of seeing how it's pulling apart, you know? If it's still breaking like that, it's more kneading. So what we're looking for is those gluten strands to kind of lengthen a bit, relax, and not be as, you don't want them to be breaking apart as much like that. You really want to be getting them to a point where they're nicely kneaded together. If we'd looked at this at the beginning, they would have just been breaking right off the bat. As you can see now, they're getting a little bit longer, a little bit stretchier. You just want a nice elasticy dough so that when it bakes, it traps all that CO2 from the yeast and you get a nice fluffy roll. So if the gluten's too short, it's going to just be kind of dense and not very good. So it's starting to be where we want it to be. Feeling pretty nicely developed. My arms are gonna fall off. I'm so tired. So what we're gonna do is just gonna form this into a nice ball, and we're gonna put that aside in a nicely oiled bowl, and we're gonna let it sit covered for about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. You're just looking for it to double in size. Alright, so our dough's been resting for about 2 hours now. It's doubled in size. It's looking awesome. Room smells great. Ooh, that's good dough. That's good dough. Look at that. Ooh. You can hear it. Alright, so what we're going to do is a little flour on our board here. We're going to cut this thing into, roughly chunk it out so it's the right size, and then we'll use the scale to make sure we get them right on so they're all the same. Alright, so now we've got our 12 little chunks of dough. What we're going to do now is just roll them into little balls so that they're nicely formed. Last one. Just put a little flour on them so they don't stick as much. And now what we're going to do is grab an lightly oiled tray. I'm going to set that aside to rest. We're going to take our bacon and cut them down the middle and in half so that we can get a bunch of little sticks, and then that way we can make crosses right at the end. Pop it in the oven around 200, maybe 220 for 15 minutes or so, just till it's nice and crispy. And with the Challenger bacon, it's not pumped full of water, so it does crisp up nicely. Alright, ta-da! So you can see they've risen up nicely. Don't touch them, because they might pop. I mean, they won't pop, but just don't touch them, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is just pop them in the oven. 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 170 Celsius. And then we'll brush them with a little maple syrup when they come out. Alright! Oh, these are looking good. Grab a little brush. We're just going to work our way around. Give them a little glaze. Good. All we gotta do now is take our bacon and we're gonna grab these little strips. All we're gonna do is make our little crosses with these bacons. And there you have it. Challenger Smallgoods maple bacon, hot cross buns. Great for Easter. Hope you get some good time with the kids, with the family. Have a good Easter egg hunt, and we'll see you next time. Hey, this is Cooking with Eli. Today we're making bacon buns.